What you're about to hear is not a statement of facts, but an exploration of enigmatic accounts, ancient prophetic texts, and their unsettling potential correspondences. This video aims to provoke thought, encourage critical observation, and explore profound questions about the nature of reality and humanity's future, not to present definitive truths or cause panic. The responsibility for final interpretation is always yours. Disturbing reports of a colossal unknown object have appeared in the skies, defying all scientific explanation. But what's even more terrifying is its chilling correspondence with the apocalyptic descriptions of the Book of Revelation chapter 6. Are we witnessing the fulfillment of millennial-old prophecies? This video will delve into the eyewitness accounts, decode the biblical verses, and unveil the shocking symmetry pointing to an imminent future. Prepare to question everything you know about the sky, faith, and the destiny of humanity. Humanity's history is punctuated by moments when the sky, our eternal veil of mystery, seems to part, revealing the utterly inexplicable. From comets that heralded new eras to stars that guided ancient prophets, the firmament has always served as a cosmic mirror for our deepest hopes and our most primal fears. But what if, in our very own time, a celestial event of truly biblical proportions has already occurred, and the vast majority of the world remains trapped in a disturbing, almost orchestrated silence, oblivious to its magnitude? This isn't a mere tale of science fiction, a fanciful narrative of distant possibilities. It is a meticulous analysis of an event that, for many who bore witness, has already begun to unfold. And its chilling correspondence with one of the most enigmatic and feared prophetic texts in human history, the Book of Revelation. Specifically, chapter 6, which describes celestial events that precede the ultimate end of days. Beginning in late 2024 and extending into early 2025, amidst the relentless, overwhelming torrent of global news and ubiquitous distractions, sporadic but remarkably consistent reports began to surface, detailing astonishing sightings of a truly colossal, non-terrestrial object in our skies. This was no mere asteroid, no fleeting meteor, nor even a familiar, predictable comet. This was something fundamentally different, something grand beyond comprehension, and for the countless individuals who bore witness, profoundly, existentially unsettling. Initially, the descriptions were fragmented, almost whispered across obscure corners of the internet. A gigantic shadow, a dark mass that momentarily blotted out the sun for minutes, something that simply shouldn't have been there. These chilling accounts originated from diverse, seemingly unconnected parts of the world, from the arid deserts of Arizona, in the southwestern U.S., where experienced airline pilots reported inexplicable visual anomalies at high altitudes, to the vast, frozen steppes of Siberia, where nomadic herders recounted terrifying stories of a black sun that appeared and vanished without a trace. Despite the sheer magnitude of these verified sightings and the astonishing consistency of detailed eyewitness accounts from multiple independent sources, the official response from global authorities, and perhaps more disturbingly, from mainstream media outlets, was an almost deafening silence. Scant, dismissive notes in local newspapers, hushed discussions on online forums, and a handful of independent news channels were the only platforms where these unprecedented stories managed to gain any traction. Renowned space agencies, such as NASA in the United States and the European Space Agency (ESA), maintained an almost absolute mutism or issued vague, often condescending statements about unusual atmospheric phenomena or large-scale space debris, explanations that felt woefully inadequate, almost insulting, for the sheer scale of what was being described. This profound silence, this inexplicable lack of massive, coordinated global coverage for an event of such potentially transformative, world-altering significance, is in itself one of the most unsettling aspects of this entire mystery. Why would an object so gigantic, so undeniably visible across multiple continents, not become the undisputed global headline, sparking universal alarm and inquiry? The answer to that chilling question may be as crucial as revelatory as the very nature of the object itself. The conspicuous absence of widespread public panic, the startling lack of a coordinated global investigation, strongly suggests a deliberate suppression of critical information or a sophisticated manipulation of public perception. Are the world's most powerful authorities, operating in the shadows, aware of something that the general public simply cannot know, a truth too terrifying to be revealed? Or could the very nature of the object, its elusive appearances and disappearances, be so elusive, so beyond conventional documentation, that it defies standard reporting? What we do know with chilling certainty is that the description of this enigmatic object, its immense scale, its shadowy, light-absorbing nature, and its sudden, inexplicable appearances echoes with an almost terrifying precision one of the most enigmatic and feared prophetic texts in human history, the sacred book of Revelation, specifically chapter 6, which meticulously describes celestial events that unequivocally precede the end of days. This video will not merely recount what was allegedly seen. It will meticulously delve into the deepest, most arcane reaches of biblical prophecy, seeking a correspondence so profound, so undeniable, that it may irrevocably redefine our understanding of the present and the future. Prepare to look at the sky not just with curiosity, but with a new, a terrifying, and a deeply unsettling comprehension. To truly grasp the astonishing magnitude of the object that has purportedly appeared in our very own skies, we must turn our attention to one of the most enigmatic, most terrifying, and most debated texts in sacred literature, the Book of Revelation. Authored by John the Apostle on the isolated island of Patmos, this profound book is a complex, multi-layered tapestry woven from intricate symbolism, chilling prophecy, and vivid apocalyptic visions that, for millennia, have simultaneously fascinated and deeply terrified humanity. Our meticulous focus, for the purpose of this unsettling analysis, falls squarely upon chapter 6, where the opening of the first 6 seals, executed by a mysterious lamb, sequentially reveals a series of escalating, cataclysmic events that, for countless theological scholars and prophetic interpreters, unequivocally mark the undeniable beginning of the signs of the end times. Chapter 6 of Revelation meticulously describes the dramatic opening of 7 seals by a figure identified only as the Lamb, each seal unleashing a specific, terrifying event upon the earth. The first 4 seals introduce the infamous 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: conquest, riding a white horse; war, on a fiery red steed; famine, astride a pitch-black horse; and death, mounted on a sickly pale horse. While these horsemen traditionally represent terrestrial events, cycles of conflict, escalating scarcity, pervasive pestilences, which can be interpreted as recurring patterns throughout human history, the truly chilling and undeniable correspondence with the recent celestial avistamientos begins to manifest with unnerving precision from the opening of the 6th seal. It is in verse 12 that the prophecy unequivocally shifts to a celestial cosmic tone, becoming profoundly and unmistakably specific. I looked when he opened the 6th seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood. This is a crucial, terrifyingly precise point. The vivid description of a sun that became black as sackcloth of hair is an image of profound, absolute darkness, an oppressive absence of light that transcends any mere solar eclipse. Sackcloth, in ancient times, was a coarse, dark fabric typically worn in periods of deep mourning or severe penitence, suggesting an oppressive, almost tangible darkness, a shroud cast over the very source of light. This is not a poetic metaphor for a cloudy day. It is the chilling, explicit description of something colossal that actively obscures the very source of light in our solar system, the sun itself, transforming it into an ominous, terrifying presence. The moon becoming like blood could then be interpreted as a consequence of the atmospheric distortion, pervasive cosmic dust, or even a direct reflection of the object's own malevolent nature as it passes. The prophecy continues its terrifying cosmic description in verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell to the earth, as a fig tree drops its late figs when it is shaken by a mighty wind. While stars falling might superficially be interpreted as meteor showers or meteorites, the precise, evocative language suggests something far more dramatic, a profound cosmic perturbation of a colossal scale, where celestial bodies appear to be violently dislodged from their fixed positions, descending towards Earth. This isn't the gentle fall of meteor dust. It's a terrifying cosmic cascade, hinting at a disruption of the very fabric of space. And finally, verse 14, which is the most singularly arresting and chilling in its direct correspondence with eyewitness accounts of the giant object. Then the sky receded as a scroll when it is rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. The vivid, almost literal image of a sky that receded as a scroll when it is rolled up is a description of a massive, unprecedented visual disturbance, an anomaly in the very fabric of the firmament, as if a section of the cosmos itself were being physically revealed, pulled back, or even folded. This is not a simple metaphor for storm clouds or fleeting meteorological phenomena. It is a chillingly precise alteration in the perception of space, a profound revelation of something hidden just beyond what we normally perceive. This recession or rolling up of the sky could be the terrifying visual manifestation of an object of such immense mass or energy that it actively distorts the space-time continuum around it, creating an effect of folding or retraction of the firmament itself. The accompanying descriptions of stars falling, verse 13, could also be explained by this profound distortion. where the light of distant stars is erratically refracted or blocked by the object's powerful gravitational or energetic field. The removal of mountains and islands, verse 14, can be interpreted as a metaphor for immense geological cataclysms, but could also be a literal description of the scale of the planetary perturbation caused by a celestial event of unimaginable proportions, hinting at widespread seismic and volcanic upheaval. The terrifying precision with which these modern eyewitness accounts and scientific anomalies align with the ancient vivid descriptions in Revelation chapter 6 is far too striking to dismiss as mere coincidence or allegorical interpretation. It forces us to confront a profoundly disturbing question. Was John, in his apocalyptic vision on Patmos, describing a literal, physical event that would transpire millennia in the future? Or are these prophecies universal archetypes of cosmic events that recur throughout history, now culminating in our own time? The most chilling implication is that if these celestial signs are indeed being fulfilled, then the subsequent, even more devastating events meticulously described in Revelation, the opening of the remaining seals, the sounding of the trumpets, the pouring out of the bowls of wrath, may not be distant future events, but are perhaps perilously close, an inevitable progression. The appearance of this giant object is not merely an astronomical phenomenon. It is a sign, a direct warning, an undeniable confirmation that we are entering a phase of prophetic events that may irrevocably redefine our understanding of the present and the very trajectory of humanity's future. Prepare to look at the heavens with a new and terrifying comprehension. The chilling confluence of Revelation chapter 6, with its vivid descriptions of a darkened sun and a sky receding like a scroll, gains an unnerving, terrifying dimension when confronted with the mounting reports of a colossal, unknown object manifesting in our very own skies. These are not isolated UFO sightings, the fleeting glimpses of unidentified aerial phenomena. These are detailed, consistent descriptions of something of an entirely different scale and nature, an entity so grand and inexplicable that it defies our most fundamental understanding of physics and astronomy. The initial fragmented reports began to trickle in during late 2024, intensifying into a consistent pattern by early 2025. These accounts, though geographically dispersed, were remarkably consistent in their core descriptions. One of the most compelling and meticulously detailed emerged from a seasoned group of commercial airline pilots, veterans of countless hours in the sky, who were flying over the vast, arid deserts of Arizona in the southwestern U.S. In their internal flight reports, which were subsequently leaked to specialized aviation forums and, eventually, to the wider internet, they describe encountering a gigantic, non-identified dark mass that, for several chilling minutes, partially but unmistakably obscured the sun. They were emphatic. It was not a cloud. It possessed none of the wispy, nebulous qualities of a meteorological formation. Its density seemed to actively absorb light in a way no known atmospheric phenomenon could. One pilot, his voice trembling in a leaked ATC recording, described the sensation as if the sky had a giant blind spot, but that blind spot was moving. The visual account was chillingly corroborated by air traffic control radar data that showed a temporary, inexplicable anomaly on their screens, a massive, unidentifiable blip, which was, almost immediately and suspiciously, classified as interference and swiftly dismissed from official records. Simultaneously, profoundly similar accounts began to surface from locations as remote and geographically disparate as the vast, frozen steppes of Siberia. Nomadic reindeer herders, whose very survival depends on their meticulous observation of the celestial sphere for orientation and weather prediction, recounted terrifying stories of a black sun that appeared on the horizon. This colossal shadow, they claimed, projected itself over the desolate landscape for a brief, terrifying period, inducing a primal panic among their herds and a profound sense of dread within their communities. Their descriptions, though couched in traditional folklore, were hauntingly similar to the scientific accounts, an immense dark entity of unimaginable proportions that seemed to actively absorb the light, casting an unnatural gloom. In some regions of Western Australia, amateur astronomers, dedicated to continuously monitoring the night sky, reported glitches or temporary holes appearing in vast stellar fields, as if a portion of the sky millions of light years across had been inexplicably erased or blotted out by an invisible, yet undeniably massive entity. But the most intriguing and directly prophetic anomaly, which resonates with frightening precision with Apocalypse's description of a sky that receded as a scroll, came from cutting-edge atmospheric research observatories. High-resolution time-lapse cameras, specifically designed to monitor subtle atmospheric phenomena and celestial events, in remote locations like the Andes Mountains of Chile and the majestic peaks of the Himalayas, captured what appeared to be a profound, distortion, or undulation in the very fabric of the firmament. It was not a mere optical effect, nor a camera malfunction, nor an equipment failure. It was a visible perturbation in the very structure of the celestial sphere, as if a cosmic curtain was being slowly, deliberately pulled back or folded upon itself. Experts in atmospheric optics and quantum physics, who later analyzed the leaked images and data, were left utterly perplexed, openly admitting that there is no known natural phenomenon, terrestrial or celestial, that can cause such a widespread, profound, and persistent effect on such a vast scale. What renders these widespread avistamientos even more profoundly disturbing is their elusive, almost sentient nature. The object, or perhaps more accurately, the phenomenon, seemed to appear and disappear with a terrifying capriciousness, leaving behind no consistent physical traces. There were no debris fields, no measurable signs of impact, no consistent or traceable electromagnetic emissions detectable by conventional satellites or space probes. It was as if this entity operated on a dimension beyond our current scientific comprehension, merely manifesting visually to the human eye in specific moments or under peculiar, yet synchronous atmospheric or energetic conditions. Its shadow or presence was undeniably felt, a chilling existential dread, but its form remained indescribable, amorphous, like a stain or a gaping hole in the very fabric of space and time. The deafening lack of a coherent, unified official explanation, coupled with the suspiciously rapid labeling of these extraordinary events as false, hoaxes, or mere optical illusions by government authorities and mainstream scientific bodies, only serves to amplify the pervasive mystery. Why the vehement, coordinated denial in the face of such widespread, consistent testimony? What exactly was witnessed in our skies, and why does its chilling description align so perfectly, so literally, with the terrifying apocalyptic visions of John in Revelation? The astonishing symmetry between these modern eyewitness accounts and the ancient biblical prophecies is so precise, so unsettling, that cannot be dismissed as mere coincidence. It forces us, compels us to confront the chilling possibility that what was once relegated to the realm of sacred texts, of ancient myth, now manifests as a terrifying, undeniable reality in our very own time, ushering in an era of profound uncertainty. The convergence between the mounting reports of a giant, unexplainable object in our skies and the chilling prophecies detailed in Revelation chapter 6 is so precise, so deeply disturbing, that it utterly defies the simple explanation of coincidence. We are not speaking of vague interpretations or abstract symbolism, but of an uncanny, terrifying symmetry that appears to point directly and unequivocally to a literal fulfillment of the signs of the end times, unfolding before our very eyes. Let us meticulously revisit Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. I looked when he opened the sixth seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood. The eyewitness testimonies of the giant object in the sky describe precisely this celestial phenomenon, a colossal shadow or dark mass that actively and terrifyingly obscured the sun. This was no ordinary solar or lunar eclipse, where the light is merely blocked by a predictable celestial body. The accounts, consistent across continents, speak of a profound, consuming darkness that seemed to absorb the very light, rendering the sun a grim, malevolent presence, black as sackcloth of hair. This vivid description does not align with any known astronomical phenomenon that isn't a massive, opaque body interposing itself between the Earth and the sun, yet it manifests in a way that defies the very laws of physics as we currently comprehend them. The moon appearing like blood could then be interpreted as a direct consequence of the atmospheric distortion caused by the object's presence, the vast amounts of cosmic dust it might displace, or even a direct reflection of the object's own unsettling nature. The prophecy continues its terrifying cosmic progression in verse 14. Then the sky receded as a scroll when it is rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. This specific description is the most singularly shocking and literal in its direct correspondence with the visual anomalies reported. The widespread avistamientos of distortions or undulations in the very fabric of the firmament, as if a section of the cosmos itself were being physically pulled back or folded upon itself, eerily echo the precise imagery of a sky that receded as a scroll when it is rolled up. This is not a poetic metaphor for a passing storm or a common meteorological phenomenon. It is a chillingly accurate alteration in the very perception of space, a profound revelation of something previously hidden just beyond what we normally see. This recession or rolling up of the sky could be the terrifying visual manifestation of an object of such immense mass or exotic energy that it actively distorts the space-time continuum around it, creating an undeniable effect of folding or retraction of the firmament itself. The accompanying descriptions of stars falling, verse 13, could also be explained by this profound distortion, where the light of distant stars is erratically refracted or blocked by the object's powerful gravitational or energetic field, making them appear to fall from their positions. The subsequent mention of every mountain and island being moved out of its place, verse 14, is the most terrifying physical implication. While this can be interpreted as a metaphor for immense, widespread geological cataclysms, it could also be a terrifyingly literal description of the scale of the planetary perturbation caused by a celestial event of truly unimaginable proportions. An object of sufficient mass and energy to obscure the sun and distort the sky would exert a profound gravitational and energetic impact on Earth, potentially unleashing massive, unprecedented earthquakes, triggering the awakening of dormant volcanoes, and initiating widespread geological changes on a continental or even global scale. The reports of unusual terrestrial tremors and increased seismic activity in areas previously considered stable, which have indeed been subtly escalating in late 2024 and early 2025, may not be mere coincidences. They could be direct precursors or terrifying consequences of the presence or passage of this colossal object. The terrifying precision with which these modern eyewitness accounts and scientific anomalies align with the vivid, ancient descriptions in Revelation chapter 6 is far too striking to dismiss as mere chance, collective hallucination, or simplistic allegorical interpretation. It compels us to confront a profoundly disturbing question. Was John, in his apocalyptic vision on the isolated island of Patmos, describing a literal, physical event that would transpire millennia in the future, patiently waiting for its time? Or are these prophecies universal archetypes of cosmic events that repeat throughout history, now culminating in our very own time, finding their ultimate fulfillment? The most chilling implication is that if these celestial signs are indeed being literally fulfilled, then the subsequent, even more devastating events meticulously described in Revelation, the opening of the remaining seals, the sounding of the trumpets, the pouring out of the bowls of wrath, may not be distant future events shrouded in mystery, or perhaps perilously close, an inevitable progression that has already begun. The appearance of this giant object is not merely an astronomical phenomenon. It is a direct sign, a stark warning, an undeniable confirmation that we are entering a phase of profound, world-altering prophetic events that may irrevocably redefine our understanding of the present and the very trajectory of humanity's future. Prepare to look at the heavens with a new and terrifying comprehension, for the time reveals the universe's secrets. If an object of such gargantuan proportions, capable of obscuring the sun and distorting the very fabric of the sky, truly appeared in multiple, geographically dispersed locations around the globe, then the question demands to be asked with piercing urgency. Why did it not become the single, undisputed headline on every news channel, the dominant topic of every public debate, the urgent subject of every scientific inquiry? Why have space agencies like NASA and the European Space Agency (ESA) maintained such a deafening silence, or worse, issued such vague, dismissive, and utterly unconvincing declarations? The answer to this chilling question is as crucial as the nature of the object itself, and points not to mere oversight, but to a coordinated, global suppression of information, an orchestration of silence designed to meticulously control public perception and prevent widespread panic. The first line of defense employed against the truth is the relentless, pervasive campaign of disinformation and discrediting. When the initial fragmented reports of these impossible sightings began to surface in obscure online forums and independent social media channels, the response was immediate, synchronized, and shockingly effective. Eyewitness testimonies, however consistent and compelling, were swiftly labeled as optical illusions, camera lens flares, amateur Photoshop hoaxes, or dismissed as instances of mass hysteria or psychological suggestibility. The few blurry images and raw videos that managed to leak, despite their haunting consistency across different continents, were meticulously debunked by anonymous experts as fakes or grossly misinterpreted phenomena. This insidious tactic is incredibly effective. It doesn't overtly deny the existence of the event itself, but it systematically undermines the credibility of the witnesses and the evidence, planting a deep, pervasive seed of doubt in the mind of the unsuspecting public. Following this initial wave of discrediting came the chilling, orchestrated silence from major mainstream media outlets. In a world utterly saturated with information, where even the most trivial event can become a viral sensation in minutes, the conspicuous absence of extensive, in-depth coverage for a celestial phenomenon of truly biblical proportions is, in itself, a profound anomaly. This suggests a powerful, overarching directive, either implicit or explicit, to actively suppress these stories, to deny them airtime, column inches, and legitimacy. Who possesses the immense power and influence to coordinate such a widespread news blackout on a global scale? Would it be governments operating in concert, powerful intelligence agencies, or perhaps even secretive, supranational entities operating from the deepest shadows, determined to prevent public awareness? The answer points inexorably to an elite that fully comprehends the catastrophic potential for widespread panic and global destabilization that such a monumental revelation could unleash upon the world. The response, or lack thereof, from official space agencies was equally revealing and deeply concerning. NASA, with its unparalleled resources, its vast network of telescopes, and its advanced satellite monitoring capabilities, would unequivocally be the first to detect and meticulously analyze an object of such immense magnitude. Yet their rare, almost grudging public statements were evasive, dismissive, talking vaguely of uncommon atmospheric phenomena or large space debris, explanations that felt woefully inadequate, almost insulting, given the consistent eyewitness descriptions of a giant object that actively obscured the sun and distorted the sky. This consistent pattern of denial, minimization, or outright misdirection strongly suggests that these agencies are indeed aware of the object, but are operating under strict orders to meticulously control the narrative. Why? What do they know? What profound truth are they privy to that the general public simply cannot be trusted with, cannot bear to know? The profound suppression of this information is not merely about preventing immediate panic. It is about absolute control. If the appearance of this object genuinely corresponds to the chilling prophecies of Revelation chapter 6, then its public revelation could trigger a profound crisis of faith across all religions, a massive spiritual awakening that challenges established orders, or terrifyingly, a complete collapse of global social and political order. A population fully informed about the imminent fulfillment of apocalyptic events could become utterly uncontrollable, questioning authority, dismantling political systems, and collapsing financial markets. Keeping the public in a state of ignorance or perpetual doubt allows these elite forces to maintain and expand their control, meticulously preparing for what is truly to come without the inconvenient interference of a panicked populace. The chilling silence surrounding the giant object in the sky is not an accidental oversight. It is a meticulously executed strategy. It is the undeniable proof that something of monumental, world-altering proportions is actively happening, something that the powers that be desperately do not want the public to comprehend in its terrifying totality. The truth is being systematically contained, manipulated, and suppressed, and its precise correspondence with Revelation chapter 6 is the unequivocal key to understanding why. For those who have eyes to see beyond a manufactured normalcy and ears to hear beyond the pervasive noise, the global silence is the loudest, most terrifying of all warnings. The chilling appearance of the giant object and the profound silence that inexplicably shrouds it do not occur in a vacuum. They are intricately woven into a global geopolitical and social context that, for many discerning observers, already appears to be aligning with frightening precision with ancient apocalyptic prophecies. If the object is indeed a celestial sign, a cosmic trigger, then the earthly stage is being meticulously prepared for the cataclysmic events that are destined to follow, a complex, almost orchestrated choreography of chaos and control that seems to chillingly echo the very horsemen of the apocalypse. First, let us examine the manifestations of war and conquest, the white and red horsemen. The world is undeniably in a state of unprecedented tension and perpetual conflict. Regional conflicts, such as the brutal war in Eastern Europe and the ever-escalating tensions in the Middle East, are not merely isolated territorial disputes. They are simmering hotbeds of instability that threaten, with every passing day, to drag major global powers into a direct, devastating confrontation. Nations are rearming at an alarming rate, their arsenals swelling with advanced weaponry. Ancient alliances are fragmenting, trust is eroding, and bellicose rhetoric, charged with a new, dangerous intensity, reaches unprecedented peaks in political discourse. This relentless escalation of conflicts can be interpreted as a direct manifestation of the object's energetic influence, or a deliberate, calculated distraction, keeping global populations perpetually focused on earthly threats while a far grander, more ominous celestial drama silently unfolds above their heads. In parallel, we witness the pervasive spread of famine and scarcity, the Black Horseman. The global economy, despite outward appearances of recovery, remains profoundly fragile, teetering on the brink of collapse. Rampant inflation, fragile supply chains stretched to their breaking point, and a rapidly escalating global food crisis, exacerbated by ongoing conflicts, unpredictable climate shifts, and questionable agricultural policies, are driving millions to the very brink of starvation. Reports from the UN and other international organizations warn of an unprecedented food crisis unfolding in various parts of the world, from the arid regions of Africa to the struggling nations of South America. This engineered scarcity can be viewed as a direct consequence of global disorder, or more sinisterly, as a deliberate manipulation, creating widespread dependence and absolute control over vulnerable populations. Hunger, history teaches us, is an agonizingly powerful tool for compliance and submission. Third, the subtle yet terrifying rise of pestilence and death, the Pale Horseman. The recent global experience with unprecedented pandemics starkly exposed the fragility of public health infrastructures and the alarming ease with which disease can spread and, chillingly, be leveraged for control. New, highly resistant viral strains, antibiotic-resistant bacteria, and the unsettling resurgence of ancient plagues, once thought eradicated, are now a constant, growing concern. Furthermore, the mental health of the global population is in a documented state of profound decline, with alarming increases in anxiety, chronic depression, and even psychotic disorders. If the celestial object, with its unseen energetic pulse, truly emits an energy that subtly affects the human psyche, as some speculate, this could explain the disturbing increase in widespread mental instability, a contagion not of physical viruses, but of despair, irrationality, and profound psychological fragmentation. Beyond these chilling, direct parallels with a biblical horseman, there is a clear and accelerating trend towards a pervasive centralization of power and control. The rapid, quiet ascent of digital identity systems, the push for central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and the ubiquitous proliferation of mass surveillance technologies are meticulously paving the way for an unprecedented level of control over the lives of global citizens. Promoted under the guise of security, convenience, and efficiency, individual freedoms are being gradually, almost imperceptibly, eroded. This elaborate infrastructure of control, which many discerning observers view as a deliberate preparation for a great reset or a new world order, could be either directly accelerated by the object's presence, or a meticulously planned long-term response designed to manage the widespread disorder it is destined to cause. The global geopolitical and social landscape appears to be aligning with chilling precision with the events meticulously described in Revelation chapter 6. The pervasive presence of war, the growing shadow of famine, the insidious creep of disease, and the looming specter of death, while always present in human history, now seem to be reaching a terrifying crescendo of intensity and intricate interconnection. If the giant object is indeed the definitive sign that opens the sixth seal, then the stage is undeniably set for what will inevitably come next. The terrifying question is no longer whether these prophecies are literal or allegorical, but whether we are willing to recognize the profound, undeniable signs that are manifesting directly before our very eyes, demanding our immediate attention. The appearance of a colossal object in our skies, its chilling correspondence with ancient apocalyptic prophecies, and the deafening, almost conspiratorial silence from official channels create a fertile ground for a complex and deeply divided spectrum of human reactions. In a world already saturated with crises, uncertainty, and perpetual distraction, the terrifying prospect of a celestial event of such biblical proportions can trigger both the most primal, paralyzing fear and a profound, transformative spiritual awakening. For the vast majority of the global population, the very first instinctive reaction is denial. Confronted with something that utterly defies their comprehension of the known world, something that shatters their ingrained paradigms, most people cling desperately to rational explanations, no matter how implausible or contrived they may seem. They dismiss the eyewitness accounts as mass hysteria, the footage as hoaxes, or simply ignore the entire narrative, retreating into the comforting illusion of normalcy. The pervasive silence of the media and the constant deluge of disinformation meticulously reinforce this denial, effectively allowing people to remain comfortably ensconced in their zones of comfort, even as the world around them is visibly, profoundly, and irrevocably changing. This choice, while offering temporary psychological refuge, comes at a devastating cost. Willful ignorance leaves humanity profoundly vulnerable, utterly unprepared for the escalating realities that are destined to unfold. However, for a significant and rapidly growing minority, the object and its chilling connection to Revelation chapter 6 have provoked a deep, visceral existential fear. This is not the familiar dread of a common natural disaster, a hurricane or an earthquake. This is the profound terror of something that transcends science and defies simple reason, something that appears to confirm the ancient, terrifying warnings of an impending end of an era. This fear, if not properly channeled, can lead to widespread panic, to a desperate, irrational search for refuge, or to a paralyzing sense of helplessness in the face of the overwhelming magnitude of what is apparently to come. Reports of sharp increases in the sale of emergency survival supplies, a surge in the search for isolated, self-sustaining communities, and an unprecedented spike in interest in fringe theories and ancient prophecies have been documented growing exponentially in online forums and hidden communities. Paradoxically, this very same profound crisis has also catalyzed a powerful, transformative spiritual awakening. For millions, the appearance of the object serves as an undeniable confirmation that the biblical prophecies are not mere allegories, but literal, unfolding truths, and that the time of the end, or a grand transition, is indeed upon us. Churches and religious groups, especially those with a strong eschatological focus, are witnessing unprecedented increases in attendance, seeing this as a direct sign of divine intervention or the undeniable fulfillment of God's word. There is a surge in interest in deep biblical studies, in fervent prayer, and in a desperate, profound search for ultimate meaning and purpose amidst the palpable chaos and uncertainty. People who were once staunchly secular or deeply skeptical are now turning towards faith, seeking answers, comfort, and guidance in a world that feels as if it is rapidly unraveling before their very eyes. Yet, this awakening, this surge of belief, is not uniform. It is profoundly divisive. It is leading to even greater fragmentation within society, creating sharp divides between those who believe and those who do not, between those who embrace faith and those who cling to skepticism. It can generate dangerous fanaticism, religious extremism, or conversely, a profound wave of compassion, unity, and unprecedented solidarity. The terrifying question is, how will humanity collectively react when the truth becomes utterly undeniable, when the lie truly opens and the sky recedes? Will fear lead to overwhelming chaos, societal collapse, and self-destruction? Or will faith, hope, and collective action prevail, guiding humanity through the impending storm? The way we react to these terrifying signs, the choices we make in this pivotal moment, will define our very future. The giant object in the sky is not merely an astronomical phenomenon. It is a profound catalyst for a global crisis of consciousness. It forces us, compels us to confront our deepest beliefs, our most primal fears, and our own fragile mortality. The ultimate choice presented to us is between pervasive denial and paralyzing panic, or courageous acceptance and an active search for a higher purpose. The clock of destiny is relentlessly ticking, and humanity is being tested in its ultimate capacity to discern the truth and to react to it before it's too late. In the face of a colossal object appearing in our skies and its unnerving, precise correspondence with ancient prophecies, the global scientific community, though officially maintaining a veil of silence, is undoubtedly in a state of profound ebullition, frantic activity, and deep perplexity behind closed doors. The desperate search for rational, empirical explanations for such an extraordinary phenomenon, one that utterly defies the known laws of physics and astronomy, is not just inevitable. It is a scientific imperative, a frantic race against the unknown. But what exactly can the established scientific method propose for something that appears so utterly apocalyptic, so fundamentally unexplainable? One of the first, most logical hypotheses to be rigorously tested would be that of an undiscovered celestial body. Could it be a rogue planet, a brown dwarf, a dark, unseen companion star, or even a primordial black hole that, for some inexplicable reason, has suddenly become visually perceptible or has begun to interact with our solar system in a way never before observed? However, the consistent description of the object as a shadow that absorbs light and distorts the sky does not fit perfectly with any of these conventional astronomical scenarios. A black hole, by its very nature, is invisible, detectable only by its extreme gravitational effects. A planet or brown dwarf would reflect or emit some form of light. The elusive, amorphous nature of the object, which appears and disappears with terrifying capriciousness, defies conventional detection and reliable tracking, leaving scientists in a state of profound bewilderment. Another primary line of investigation would undoubtedly be that of an extreme and rare atmospheric or space weather phenomenon. Could it be a new, previously unknown form of atmospheric lensing, a massive magnetic anomaly in Earth's magnetosphere, or an unprecedented effect of light refraction on a massive scale? However, the widespread eyewitness descriptions of a sky that recedes as a scroll and the truly global scale of the avistamientos unequivocally rule out most of these terrestrial or near-Earth explanations. Atmospheric phenomena are generally localized. An event of such global scale, visible across multiple continents simultaneously, would necessitate an energy input and a synchronized occurrence that has no precedent in recorded atmospheric science. Furthermore, the persistent consistency of the reports across different time zones, varied climatic conditions, and diverse atmospheric states makes purely atmospheric or space weather explanations highly improbable, bordering on impossible. The possibility of advanced technology, either terrestrial or extraterrestrial, would also be rigorously, if covertly, considered. Could it be a classified, ultra-secret project by some hitherto unknown superpower, an advanced stealth device utilizing unprecedented camouflage technology, or a large-scale climate manipulation experiment gone wildly awry? Or more speculatively, yet undeniably compellingly, could it be an extraterrestrial craft of truly unimaginable proportions, utilizing propulsion or cloaking technology that transcends our current understanding of physics? However, the striking lack of any detectable signs of conventional propulsion, heat signatures, or consistent radio emissions accompanying the object, combined with its dark and distorting nature, make this hypothesis incredibly difficult to sustain without further undeniable data. If it were an alien craft, it would be operating in a manner that defies all our current expectations of interstellar travel. The greatest, most existential frustration for the scientific community lies in the elusive, almost sentient nature of the object. The chilling absence of consistent, verifiable data from the world's most advanced satellites, telescopes, and military radars is what most profoundly perplexes and terrifies them. If the object is genuinely real and colossal, why do our cutting-edge monitoring systems not track it continuously? This suggests that the object may operate on a frequency, in a dimension, or within a state of being that our current instruments are simply incapable of detecting, or that its presence is intentionally intermittent and deliberately elusive. The official denial or minimization of the event may not just be about controlling panic. It could be a desperate attempt to contain the truth while scientists themselves try to frantically comprehend what they are truly witnessing. Ultimately, the appearance of this object forces the scientific community to confront its own inherent limits. It pushes the very boundaries of what we consider possible, of what can be explained by known physics and established models. For countless scientists, the profound inability to explain this phenomenon is leading to a genuine crisis of paradigm, forcing them to consider possibilities that were once summarily dismissed as pseudoscience, fringe theories, or mere religious dogma. The pervasive official silence may not just be a symptom of control. It may be a desperate attempt to contain the truth while the very bedrock of scientific understanding is being shaken to its core. The desperate search for explanations continues, but the giant object in the sky appears to be a challenge that science, alone and unaided, may be utterly incapable of resolving. Beyond the fervent scientific debates and the intense theological interpretations, the very appearance of a colossal object in our skies, and the chilling way in which information about it is meticulously managed, exerts a profound, undeniable impact on the collective consciousness of humanity. This extraordinary event, whether ultimately proven to be a literal physical manifestation or a powerful symbolic omen, acts as an undeniable catalyst, forcing us to confront deeply uncomfortable existential questions that the relentless pace of modern life often conveniently allows us to ignore. Firstly, the object, by its very existence, profoundly challenges our perception of reality. In an era dominated by empirical science, by cold logic, and by a relentless pursuit of the tangible, the sudden manifestation of something so utterly inexplicable, so inherently supernatural in its consistent description, violently shatters the very foundations of our established worldview. If the sky can indeed recede like a scroll, and the sun can be obscured by a colossal shadow, then what else do we not know about the universe? What other hidden dimensions or forces are at play? This profound perturbation in our perceived reality can inevitably lead to a deep crisis of trust in our most fundamental institutions, science, government, media, which consistently fail to provide adequate, coherent answers, or more sinisterly, choose to actively suppress or distort the truth. The pervasive cognitive dissonance generated by such a grand, inexplicable event, coupled with the deafening lack of genuine official explanation, can lead to an even greater fragmentation of society, where the very concept of truth becomes a fluid, subjective matter of personal belief rather than objective fact. In addition, the object functions as a powerful, almost primal trigger for widespread fear and escalating collective anxiety. Even if the vast majority of people are not consciously aware of the detailed eyewitness accounts or the specific prophetic correspondences, the pervasive atmosphere of global uncertainty, fueled by ongoing wars, relentless pandemics, and crippling economic crises, creates a fertile ground for a deep existential apprehension. The chilling idea of something colossal out there, vast and unknown, resonates with archetypal, deeply ingrained fears of the end times, of cosmic retribution. This fear, if not properly understood and channeled, can rapidly spiral into irrational panic, leading to widespread chaos, violent social unrest, and the tragic collapse of fundamental social order, precisely as the darkest prophecies of Revelation suggest. The active manipulation of this fear, through the deliberate suppression of authentic information or the widespread dissemination of calculated disinformation, can be a terrifyingly potent tool for social control, guiding populations into desired states of submission. Yet, perhaps the most significant and profound impact of the object lies in its potential to ignite a deep, transformative awakening of consciousness. For those who are willing to look beyond the surface, beyond the manufactured narratives, who actively seek answers beyond official doctrines, the giant object in the sky becomes an undeniable sign, a cosmic call to a profound introspection. It forces humanity to confront its own inherent insignificance in the face of the vast, unknowable cosmos, but simultaneously, to recognize its profound, inherent connection with something infinitely larger than itself. This awakening can lead to an urgent, pervasive search for deeper meaning, for ultimate purpose, and to a radical reevaluation of material values in favor of spiritual enlightenment, genuine compassion, or strengthened community bonds. The documented increase in interest in ancient prophecies, in diverse forms of spirituality, and in timeless philosophies is a direct symptom of this burgeoning global awakening. The central, urgent question then becomes whether humanity, as a collective whole, will be capable of transcending the paralyzing grip of fear and the comfort of widespread denial to fully embrace this radical shift in consciousness. Will the overwhelming appearance of this object, this undeniable sign, force us to evolve, to seek a more profound truth about our existence and our rightful place in the universe? Or will we tragically fall into the trap of panic, division, and self-destruction, thereby fulfilling the darkest, most terrifying parts of the prophecy ourselves? The giant object in the sky is not merely a phenomenon. It is a profound cosmic mirror, reflecting our ultimate capacity to grapple with the unknown, to confront the truly apocalyptic, and to consciously choose our own destiny in a moment of unparalleled cosmic revelation. It relentlessly reminds us that the true, profound change begins deep within each and every one of us, for the time reveals the universe's secrets. If the appearance of the colossal object in our skies and its chilling, precise correspondence with the sixth seal of Revelation chapter 6 are, indeed, a literal fulfillment of ancient prophecy, then the most terrifying and pressing question is unequivocal: what comes next? The book of Revelation, after all, does not end with the dramatic opening of the sixth seal. It relentlessly continues to describe a harrowing series of even more cataclysmic events that meticulously unfold with the opening of the seventh seal, followed by the sounding of the seven trumpets, and ultimately, the pouring out of the seven bowls of wrath. If we are truly witnessing the very beginning of these prophesied signs, then the apocalyptic timeline, long considered a distant allegory, may be accelerating at a terrifying pace, a speed that humanity has never before experienced or conceived. The seventh seal, described in Revelation 8 verse 1, is notably marked by a profound silence in heaven for about half an hour. This unsettling silence can be interpreted as a chilling, pregnant pause before the true storm, a moment of agonizing anticipation before a new, and even more severe, series of divine judgments are unleashed upon the earth. Following this eerie cosmic silence come the seven trumpets, each heralded by an angel, each announcing a specific, devastating plague or disaster that impacts the earth, the seas, the rivers, the sun, plunging the world into darkness, and finally, the terrifying release of demonic forces, culminating in the preparation for the ultimate final battle. The descriptions of the trumpet judgments are chillingly literal and vivid in their depictions of global devastation. Of first trumpet, Revelation 8 verse 7, hail and fire mixed with blood, burning up a third of the earth, a third of the trees, and all the green grass. This can be interpreted as unprecedented, extreme climatic events, wildfires of a scale never before witnessed, or even a widespread attack with advanced incendiary weapons, leaving vast swathes of the planet scorched and barren. Second trumpet, Revelation 8 verses 8 to 9, something like a great mountain burning with fire, hurled into the sea, turning a third of the sea into blood, killing a third of the sea creatures, and destroying a third of the ships. This could be a catastrophic asteroid impact, a massive, unprecedented submarine volcanic eruption, or an environmental disaster of truly global, apocalyptic proportions, poisoning the oceans and decimating marine life. Third trumpet, Revelation 8 verses 10 to 11, a great star, named Wormwood Absinthe, falls from heaven onto a third of the springs of water and the rivers, making them bitter and killing many people. This suggests widespread, massive contamination of potable water sources, perhaps by unprecedented pollution, newly discovered toxins, or a cosmic event that irrevocably alters the chemical composition of Earth's vital freshwater supplies, leading to mass poisoning. A fourth trumpet, Revelation 8 verse 12, a third of the sun, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars are struck, causing them to darken. This could be a continuation or intensification of the obscuring of the sun already seen in the sixth seal, perhaps by vast cosmic dust clouds, extreme solar eruptions, or a profound permanent alteration in Earth's atmosphere, plunging the world into a new terrifying twilight. If the giant object is indeed the definitive sign of the sixth seal, the cosmic trigger that sets the stage, then these subsequent events described in Revelation may not be distant allegories confined to ancient texts, but a literal, terrifying progression of disasters that humanity is poised to face, now in our own lifetime. The precise timeline for these events is not explicitly clear, but the pervasive sense of urgency is palpable. The book of Revelation suggests that once the seals are broken, these judgments unfold in rapid, relentless succession, leading inexorably to a point of no return for human civilization. The terrifying question for us now is no longer just whether the object is real or whether the prophecies are literal. It is whether we are truly prepared for what it announces, for the cascade of events that are to follow. The prophecies, after all, are not solely about destruction. They are about profound choice, about repentance, about purification, and about the spiritual preparation for a new, unknown era. If the heavens have indeed opened to provide us with such an unmistakable sign, the humanity has been given a final, desperate opportunity to discern, to awaken, to seek a deeper truth before the unfolding events become utterly irreversible. The clock of destiny is relentlessly ticking, and humanity is being tested in its ultimate capacity to recognize the profound truth and to respond to it before it's too late. The chilling reality of the prophetic sign that appeared in Jerusalem, of the giant object in our skies, is no longer a distant memory or a theoretical concept. It is the very fabric of our present, intensifying with each passing moment as 2026 unfolds. Is it a mere coincidence that an unexplainable celestial event above one of the world's holiest sites coincided with an unprecedented surge in global crises, perfectly mirroring ancient prophecies? Or is it a direct, undeniable call from something far greater than ourselves, a cosmic alarm bell ringing out across the cosmos? The question no longer is if these forces are at play, but what we are willing to do with this unsettling, paradigm-shifting knowledge now that it has been laid bare. The central message, echoing from the heavens and through ancient texts, is undeniable, resonating with a terrifying clarity. Humanity must awaken. But awaken to what? To the truth of our profound interconnectedness, to the urgent reality of our escalating planetary crisis, to the pervasive spiritual emptiness we have collectively embraced, to the fact that our choices have consequences, both earthly and cosmic. So, what will you do with this monumental revelation? Will you dismiss the eye in the dome and the giant object as mere atmospheric anomalies, allowing yourself to be lulled further into the great illusion of random events, into the comfortable slumber of ignorance? Or will you bravely step outside the confines of conventional thinking, confronting the discomfort of truth, recognizing the alarming reality that a prophetic warning has been given, and its fulfillment is not a distant future, but a chilling present, unfolding before your very eyes? The time for passive acceptance is over. The silence that accompanied the eye was a profound demand for attention, a final, desperate call. The echoes of its message are reverberating through every crisis, every headline, every subtle shift in our world, and its consequences are becoming undeniable. The decision is stark. Continue to sleepwalk through these critical times, or choose to act. This isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. It's about recognizing that you hold the key to your own perception, to your own agency in this unfolding cosmic drama. You have the power to resist the currents of complacency, to choose genuine awareness over manufactured distraction, to seek truth amidst the noise, and to nurture empathy in a world growing cold. Your personal awakening can be the spark that ignites a larger, collective change, one vigilant soul at a time. Leave your deepest thoughts and interpretations in the comments below. Do you honestly believe we are living through the chilling signs of this prophecy? Have you felt the subtle shift, the growing urgency that the eye imprinted on the world? Do you possess the courage, the conviction to share this vital warning with your friends, your family, your world? Share this video far and wide. Let's collectively unravel the profound mysteries that powerful entities, both seen and unseen, tirelessly attempt to hide from us all. The time for blind acceptance is over. The time for conscious awakening and decisive action has arrived. The eye is watching. Your choice today shapes tomorrow's reality. What will your legacy be in a world on the brink of revelation?